Vandeham Sri Guru.
In Sanskrit language, we've heard this word. We use it in English as well, called mantra. And generally it has a connotation. The connotation is either it means a motto or it means something that you say again and again. This is my mantra. Actually, in Sanskrit, this word is made up of two words. One is mana, which means the mind, and tra means to relieve the mind. Okay, so mantra is generally a we say sacred or a powerful spiritual sound that relieves the mind. What does the mind have to be relieved from? All of us. There's so much to say about what all is there in the mind. What else do you think? Anxiety. Ushan? Worries. Karthik? Stress or whatever. Chris?
Just thoughts.
Thoughts, exactly. Thoughts. Tension.
The mind itself.
The mind is the material mind. Well, you don't get rid of the mind. The mind becomes purified or relieved. So here's what the Vedic understanding is, that from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime, and even in this lifetime, we have accumulated, we have gathered, right? We've gathered different ideas and conceptions, purposes, aspirations that are all materialistic. And the purpose of the Vedic approach is to relieve the mind of all of these things that we have gathered, so that the original soul, the spirit that we are, who we are, comes shining forth. Okay? And interestingly enough, these things are not sitting in the conscious mind. They're sitting in the subconscious mind. Subconscious mind means it's not something we think about on a day-to-day basis. But these things come out when we are in a particular circumstance. Right? If you see, for example, how does the subconscious work? In any situation, how we respond to that situation depends on what's in the subconscious. If you ask a person on the conscious side, they will just say, like for example, you give someone a question, okay? The question will be, if someone teases you while you're walking on the road, what would you do? Right? The conscious response to it will be, I'll ignore it. But actually when it happens, it's the subconscious that gets triggered and it defends or says something back, or you feel fear or shame or something. All the different emotions come out, but that's sitting in the subconscious. Or for example, we're going through life and there's a situation, and let's say some test of some kind, not the one that we respond to questions, but some situation, and the subconscious fears and anxieties, they crop up. It's not something we're even aware of, but it's there. Anyone have that experience where the subconscious gets triggered? Yeah, all the time, all the time. I'll give you a quick example. This is off topic. I knew of a young man who, before every exam, his mouth would be full of blisters and he'd be throwing up. Didn't know why. For years together. So one situation was that he had graduated with an MBA and had a job interview. So he must, grown up person. And had these blisters in his mouth. And I asked him, are you afraid? He said, no, it happens before every exam. So I asked him, when was the first time you noticed something like this? And for some reason he remembered. He said, when I was in 4th grade. I said, really? Tell me what happened in 4th grade. And he vividly remembers it, that his family situation was something that his mother was expecting from him always, that he has to excel in his exam, and he didn't do so well. So in exasperation, she became upset and she had hit him, and his head hit the wall. She couldn't tolerate that he was not doing well, because she felt that their family was going through a lot of difficulty and everything was hinged on his doing well. They were hoping that 4th grade, but they were hoping that he will do well. And she didn't know how to respond to it. He didn't do so well, so he got hit on the head. That anxiety, that exam means I must do well, translated into such degree that every time from then on, when there was an exam, his mother would be full of blisters and he would be throwing up out of fear, of anxiety. It's not something he knew. It was acting from the subconscious. Okay? So like that. So mantra is that spiritual sound that relieves the mind of all of this and makes our spiritual self shine forth. Okay? That's one. The second, last week when we were here, we were talking about how that the soul needs to be connected to the absolute truth. And we talked the absolute truth has so many different connotations, and we sort of, at least I thought I brought you to a point where to understand that God means a person with form, with nature, with personality. And when we are in contact with that personality, our full spiritual nature is awakened. Just as when we are closer to the fire, we feel warmth. Remember that one? Okay. Yes? So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go closer to the fire and feel that spiritual warmth. I mean, this is just language. It's not like you're going to feel some warmth like that. What we're trying to do is using spiritual sound to penetrate through the subconscious and touch the soul. Now there are many sounds. We create sound by touching the tongue to the palate. That's a sound. The words we use, they're all sound. What's the difference between this sound that we're going to, this mantra that we're going to incantate, versus the sound that we normally make in language that we speak? There's a difference. This is called spiritual sound, and what we generally speak and hear, the movies and the commercials, that sound is material. There's a difference. There's a difference between material sound and spiritual sound. Material sound comes from the sense of the imagination that we have, the world of our imagination, our mind and intelligence. And material sound, like everything material, after some time loses its taste. So if I were to give you an experiment to take those beads and on the beads just recite Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola for the rest of the day, 5 minutes later you'd be so bored. You can't do it because it's matter, material sound. Spiritual sound is that sound that is connected to the original spiritual realm. So the words Hare Krishna and Hare Rama, these are spiritual sounds that connect to the soul. Coca-Cola doesn't go to the soul. You understand? It remains in the mental and intellectual levels. It doesn't get to the spiritual level. And this is something that the more you do, the more you feel like doing. That's the difference between spiritual sound and material sound. Any questions? Okay. So in the Vedic repository, there are many mantras. Many mantras. And it's described that among all the mantras, this is like the substance or the essence of all mantras. Therefore it's called the Maha Mantra. Maha means great. because this encompasses everything else. All other mantras are included in this mantra, because this talks about the original person, Krishna. Krishna means all attractive. God by nature is all attractive. Anything about Krishna is attractive. In Sanskrit, the word Krishna means all attractive. And Rama means the reservoir of all pleasure. So whatever we do, we experience pleasure. Sometimes we eat something nice, we hear a nice song where the scenery is nice. It's not because those things are nice. It's because of Rama, the potency of Rama, that what makes it nice. Because matter by itself has no nourishment in it. It's dull. It's because it is Rama's potency by which things come, and that's what we are attracted to. And the Hare is that energy, the potency that attracts us to Krishna. So the Hare Krishna mantra is a call from the soul to that absolute truth to please help us connect. Okay? So here's what we're going to do. Those beads that you have, all beads have a central bead. Well, there's this orange string or whatever. Right? There's a central bead. Then pick a bead that's right next to it and hold it with your right hand between the middle finger and the thumb. One after. That one. One another one. There you go. Exactly. Between the thumb and the middle finger. Middle finger? Yeah. If you want, I can show you my middle finger. Okay, thumb and middle finger. Okay? And we will go together. I'll show you, and then once you're done, you move with the thumb and go to the next one. You're sure? Move with the thumb and go to the next one. Move with the thumb, go to the next one. The bead goes above the middle finger, not over the thumb or below. If beads are like this, it needs to go like this.
That's right. Yeah.
There you go. And now move with the thumb to the next one. Just scroll down. Pull.
The next one. Yes. There.
And with your thumb, like this, just pull it down.
If you start in the other direction, from here, you keep your hand,
Hey, pull up.
with this bead, with your thumb, and now you can pull. Now just pull towards you. That's right, like this. Perfect.
Finish this.
Yeah.
Check out.
Awesome.
Okay, so hold between the thumb and the middle finger. So we'll do level 1. Okay, so first one, just repeat after me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Rama Rama.
Rama Rama.
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Very good. You guys may go from level 1 to level 2. So now repeat after me. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare.
Hare Rama. Hare Rama.
Hare Rama. Hare Rama.
Rama Rama. Hare Hare.
Rama Rama. Hare Hare.
You're very fast learners. You're going to level 3 now. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare.
Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare.
Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare.
Very, very good. You guys are so good. Level 4. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare.
Best group you've ever had. So once we finish one mantra, you move the beat to the next and you do the same. So here's what you do. Some of you who may not be familiar with the mantra, you can read up as you're chanting. If you already know, You can close your eyes, keep your eyes open, stand on your head if you like, it doesn't matter. But if you're going to be sitting down, keep your back straight, don't look into your cell phone, and the mind will have different thoughts passing through, right? One thought will be, when will this end? This is not going to end today. We're going to be here till 6 o'clock doing this. Seriously. Prashant. Okay. He seemed worried. The mind will have a tendency to run, and will have a tendency to focus on the mind and travel different places, because that's where the mind is going. So it's described that we are to bring the mind to hear the sound of the mantra, right? Remember, we're trying to harness the sound of the mantra. So focus on the sound. Hare Krishna, Hare. If your mind runs somewhere else, bring it to the sound of the mantra. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes yato nischalati manaha atmavad atmavashye. You have to bring it back under the control of the self. That means when you notice that your mind is somewhere else, bring it to the sound of the holy name. Bring it sound of this mantra. Hare Krishna, like that, okay? Alright. And another thing is, don't go too slow. Hare Krishna. This won't work either. You have to keep a certain pace. And the pace is something like this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay? Anything slower than that, mind will run away. Mind will run away anyway. But this will make it easier for it to run away. Okay, you ready? We will go on for some time. At least we'll go through one whole round. So be patient. Bring your mind back to the sound. Okay? Alright, we'll go together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare.
You want to share some experience of how it was? How focused was your mind? Come on, guys. Anything at all? Nothing to share? Karthik, we'll pick on you today, since you're cruising.
Yeah, mind was wavering, so trying to concentrate on this.
Is there a pattern to where the mind was going? Do you know?
So like what's coming today was going to that. So what
Planning.
next? Yeah, like that. Not planning what's going to. I have some work after this, so just was thinking about that. So what's going to happen like that. So just it was wavering. And then
In the rest of the day coming forward.
yeah,
Okay.
like that. And also was thinking about this.
Okay? Well, thank you for sharing. Anyone else? Chris, something?
I went between the mantra and my ears being itchy.
Okay. That was a sensation? Your ears were itchy? Okay. Anyone else? experience? What was your experience? This is your first time, right?
Yeah.
What was your experience?
I couldn't keep up with it. Trying to keep everything together was pretty much it, and making sure I was saying the words right.
How's the feeling? What did you feel?
I felt okay. Peaceful. Felt peaceful. Felt good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a common thing. Peaceful. Anyone else?
I was saying it was peaceful. As a word girl.
Anyone's mind go back to the past? Anywhere? Abhijit?
Yeah, it kept swirling back into the past, but then eventually it came back here. And then
Past means like memories of the past, or some worries of the past, or what?
memories of the past.
Okay.
But then eventually, try to bring it back in. And then eventually it again stepped out. And I was practically like standing there looking at the class. Again it came back in.
Eric, something?
I have a question.
Yeah.
What's the purpose of the beads?
Beads is to keep the mind focused.
Okay.
That's one.
Okay.
Second, there is power in numbers. So there's a count. There's 108. There's a count in it, and it's part of the discipline. Otherwise, if it is just sort of free flow, then the mind follows the free flow. This is part of the discipline, and we're trying to discipline our minds.
I did feel like it was where I couldn't remember to do it, but it makes me feel like a presence
Yeah,
in that.
that is correct. That is correct. Krishna is a very much a person, and feeling presence is right on target. What is your name?
Sankesh.
Sankesh.
Yeah.
I noticed you were perhaps reciting something else.
No, I just lost my count. So,
Oh, okay.
I
You're just
just
trying to
lost,
catch up.
yeah, I was just trying to catch up.
Okay. Anything? What's your experience?
Yeah, I just joined like halfway, so what I felt was like I've been having a couple of days have been very bad for me last 2 days. So even though like,
Bad for you,
yeah, pretty
like
bad.
health-wise.
No, not health-wise.
Just things are
been
going
having a
wrong.
very bad day, like
Things are going
day at
wrong.
work.
Oh, fantastic.
So I felt good. Like I was thinking about all those what happened for the past 2 days, and I just thought about it, and probably it made me feel better. Like now things are okay. So I was just thinking about those 2 days.
So we're going to do it one more time, but this time we're going to share something. Let's say we are here at this moment, okay? This is what we call the past. Future, okay? And time moves like this, right? What was future becomes present, becomes past. True or no?
Yes.
Yeah, because we're moving like this. Something there was a few moments ago, starting from there. So right here, from here to anywhere in the past, do we have any ability to change? You're having some bad day a couple of days. Let's take, however, back in the past. Does any one of us have any ability to change anything from the past, even if it was a few moments ago? How many say we cannot change? Very good. From this moment down here, how many of us can say for sure that we know how the future will look like, and I know how this future, that I can influence the future? Raise your hand if you feel that you can influence the future.
You can try to
Influence the future.
No, what I do now has an influence on the future. Okay. How many of us can say that I know the next moment how it will look like? I know how the next day will look like, the next year. How many of us can say it? How many of us can say with with full assurance the next moment how it will look like. Why? You guys have nothing in the future? Why are you going to school if you're not going to influence the future? Sankesh, why you can't?
I don't tell exactly with full assurity that
Okay,
I can have a
50%
vague idea.
probability.
Yeah, I have my own plans, as in that's why I joined the school. So maybe 2 years later down the line, I see myself graduating from this school. So this is how I can predict the future. But I cannot exactly tell. Okay, I will be coming out with this course and these awards or achievements. So this is like vaguely I can say I can come out with
Even with 50% probability, you feel the future rolling. Okay. What is one thing that we're missing out? No, of course, that I'll come to it. It's something about future. Has anyone seen the future? So does it exist?
It does exist, but we have not seen it.
How can you say?
It's green.
Death can come at any point. Does anyone know when they're going to die? So how can you say you've seen the future? You can't. You don't know. In this life, have you heard of people just kind of dropping dead like that?
Yeah. All the time.
All the time. I mean, they will drop dead. But they drop dead. Very close, just recently, very close friend of mine, a family friends, 43-year-old, 44. He was upstairs. He walked down to the living room. His father and mother were there. Walked down to the living room. He's perfectly hale and hearty, strong guy. Boom, fell down dead like that. Things happen. My friend's mother, guest came. She entertained the guests. Blah blah. The guests were leaving, and she was at the door saying bye to them. Dropped dead. Perhaps I'm being a little morbid about it, but you get the idea. Anything, our life, no one can say, oh, we hope so. And we build all our plans on this hope that the future will look fantastic and, I'll get my awards, I'll get my, no one thinks negative, right? No one ever thinks, let me look in the future, I will not have any job, I'll be homeless, out in the cold in Chicago. No one dreams like that. Everyone dreams the nice things in life. And everyone hopes for the nice things. But the future is something that no one has seen. So if there is anything that we can actually hold on to, what is that?
Present.
The present. And as soon as that present becomes past, we have no control over it. So the mind going to the past, whether it was yesterday, a day before, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, because 30 years ago most of you were not here. Whatever. There's absolutely no influence. But you will notice that the mind, instead of staying here in the present, toggles between these two. It's either here or it's here. Karthik, the rest of the day is coming up. I am planning something. So my future is coming up. Graduation, job, money, life, expenditure, or in the past. It's either in the future or in the past, and it just cannot stay in the present. And if you noticed, I had said, when we are chanting this mantra, keep the mind on the mantra. So what happens? You're right here. And this is where we experience what we say happiness. The greatness of yogis is that they are in the present. They are with here. They're in this moment. If you're in the past, all you can do is, it's called lamenting. Because when you look at our past, we only say, oh, it could have been this way. It should have been this way. I wish it were that way. Could have, should have, must have. I must have. That little thing I should have changed. If I had got 0.1 extra GPA, I would have been in a different university, not IIT. Or somehow 1 point GPA was good. I made it to IIT. Otherwise, I was not even making it anyway. Whatever. This is the past. We have absolutely no control over it. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. So don't live there. Don't live in the past. It's gone. But the mind will take us there. Oh, yesterday someone said like, oh, why did they say past, gone? But the mind drags us into the past, or the mind drags us into the future. Oh, how nice it will be. Oh, very soon. Soon enough. Few more years. And then. This is called thank you. Hankering. This dreaming is called hankering. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that those who are in the mode of ignorance, they are either lamenting or dreaming about the future, and they don't do anything about their life. Only dream. So get out of the dream state and be in the present. And the present is this experience of connecting with the Supreme. We can't say, in the future I will do it. We may not be here. We can't say, in the past. Some time ago. It's not like this, gone. We have no influence on time. So bring the mind back to the sound of the name, sound of this mantra. So when we are in the present, we have an experience of life. We have experience of happiness. Because future state happiness is only a so-called promise. If I were to say to you, I'll give you $5 now, or $1 million 10 years later, what would you take? Which of you who's not in the right mind will say $1 million later? Who knows? Post-dated has no value. $5 now has more value. You understand? So let's bring the mind back to. So one more. This time, whenever your mind goes into the past or the future, you have to tell it to shut up and come to the present. Just this. My attention is on that particular bead and the mantra that I'm on. Okay? Angada, you're chanting with both hands? Okay, Hanuman, you have to. Okay, let's get back. Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna
Did it make any difference? Prashant?
Trying to focus more on the present and knowing what's going to be.
Okay, that's good.
And it kept varying.
Sure.
Still, different plan.
Good. Bringing it to the present is very important. Any others?
I keep having simultaneous conversation with myself.
Yeah.
And it was more of recent present and recent future. It wasn't like 1 year back or something.
Okay.
It was yesterday, tomorrow. I was telling myself to concentrate.
That's right.
No,
That's right.
it was like more of mutual conversation. And it was happening simultaneously. So
Sure.
I didn't lose track of this as well.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, because this was not my first experience. It started with me telling myself that I have to be in present, but if you keep telling yourself, you're not concentrating. So once you let go, totally let go, and you start meditating. After, I was half done, now that I realize, I was actually in present because I was not thinking of anything else. And it was so relaxing that I think I dozed off for half a second. I had those, waves, but it was a very, very relaxing experience.
Relaxing doesn't have to mean you don't have to sleep. There are the deltas in the brain. Beyond there's called the delta waves that put a person to sleep. And being present and alert is the higher wave beyond that. That person is not what happens is the mind gets used to like a hum, and that hum puts a person to sleep. Like small children, that repetition puts a person to sleep.
So Prabhuji, what's the next step? For example, earlier it used to be a battle to not think about past or future, and now it's more like we are in present for few moments.
That's good.
And we feel to try, the body tries to doze off because all those knots, all those tension points, they get released. What happens next? Is it like you get used to be in that?
That's correct. That is correct. You're very alert in that present. Very alert with Krishna. Anyone else? Would you like to share something? You were conversing with yourself. Was it a pleasant conversation?
Yeah,
Alright. As long as we talk to ourselves and feel good about it.
I feel like the room is filled with positive energy, and when I attend bhajans, everyone chants the same thing, and I get goosebumps, and some kind of positive energy goes into me.
Oh, okay.
I make all my senses concentrate on this. I say that, I hear it, and then when I close my eyes, I want to see that,
And you're
then
touching
touch it.
Very
So,
good.
something like that.
You're not tasting?
Not, I was telling something
That
with
is
my
also
tongue.
I can feel that sense of touch, it improved a lot.
That is correct.
Every beat is moving with my fingers,
Yeah.
and I also create
That's an indication that you're in the present. Because your sensations are all active.
And I also created somewhat a presentation slides. So every time I chant a mantra, so if I say Hare Krishna, the words appear right in front of my eyes so that I will lose concentration.
So next time, don't run the slide. Just open your eyes. It's right here. Because that's work for the mind. The mind is working. Okay, next one. Okay. No, just open your eyes. It's right here. Don't give work to the mind.
I have a question.
Yeah?
You said that we are not certain about the future. I agree to that. Then why do we consult astrology?
Why do we? I don't know. Why should we?
He said that it's a legit science.
It is. The thing is, we do. And then, although it is legit science, and we all hope, no one hopes that I'm going to die the next moment.
Right.
There is always hope that I will look forward to something.
So that means things do add up. That the course that we are taking, if we anticipate that the pace we are going to, it leads somewhere.
Yeah, the thing is, it leads somewhere, but what does not lead to, that we are not aware of, what circumstances will be faced with. We don't know. Two persons, let's say, born at the same time, in the same coordinates that they do astrology, okay? One is born in a king's house as a prince, one is born in a beggar's house. And both their astrological chart will say, when you are 25, you will have Raja Yoga.
Right.
Doesn't mean the beggar will going to become a king. The prince may turn out to be a king, the beggar may get a job. And from begging he goes to a job and makes money. That's Raja Yoga. So we can't say. Yeah, it's relative. So there is some idea, but it's not 100% guaranteed. You can't say. No, there's no one who can say. And there are things in the astrological whatever prediction that may manifest completely different. So putting our, all our money into one astrological basket is highly dangerous. Not to do that. Okay. Would you be open to conducting an experiment? Yes or no? Yes. Say enthusiastically, yes. Yes. You are the experiment. Okay? You're going to experiment on yourself. And not on others. On yourself. So here's how you're going to experiment on yourself. This is Friday until next Friday for 1 week. Okay? Carve out 20 minutes of your day to do what we just did. So 2 rounds of this. Okay? You have to find that 20 minutes or so. It takes about 20 minutes. That's, you write down because you'll forget what the factors, the parameters of the experiment are. You want to type it on your phone. However, the first thing is you will carve out 20 minutes or so to do this 2 rounds of this mantra. You'll remember correctly. Okay. So the first element of that experiment is, for the next 1 week, try avoid eating any meat. And I'll explain why. Avoid meat. Avoid alcohol. Boy, that's the student's blood, no? Avoid alcohol. Don't smoke. And this is the real toughest one. Don't have any sex for the next 1 week. If you can, avoid anything sexual. Somehow. And you do this every day. And you will see a big difference between now and the next week. You may or you may not see. I want you to tell me how the experiment feels. Bala, something? Is that like 20 years? You try for a week and tell me.
Question: is there a certain way when you meditate? Should you be laying in a bed, or should you be by yourself? Is there a certain setup that you should be involved in?
Very good question. As much as possible. Do it as soon as we wake up in the day. The first things, we take a shower or whatever. As soon as we showered, spend that 20 minutes. That's the best time of the day. Now for most students, the day begins at about noon. Right? So that's their morning. The day has about a 90-degree lag in it. Speaking electronically, about 90-degree lag. Starts at noon. Whenever the day starts for you, when you take a shower, that's the first 20 minutes. And sit up straight as much as possible. And be in a place that's not too noisy, not with your radio on. Naturally, TV, it's not like you're catching up on the mantra and the latest news at the same time. You're not sitting in front of a computer screen. With your right hand, you're you have the mantra, the left hand, you're browsing. No. Naturally, the mind's focused. No multitasking. No parallel processing. 1 week. And when you come back next Friday, tell me what you feel, what you notice. Is that right? Is that clear? Do it, and even for the sake of, just for the heck of, what does it feel like? Do it, if nothing else. Any questions? Ready for lunch? Okay, we'll have lunch and then see if there's more conversation. Okay, so tomorrow evening, 5 o'clock, is our Ramayana drama. All the Vedic Vision Society students and our director and producer, Harshingar, is here. And we encourage you to come be part of the drama. Yeah, it's at IIT Tower, starting at 5 p.m. So please join us and bring your friends. How do they get tickets and all that? Online?
We have few tickets here, they can pay or we can pay online.
Okay. However, is to support VVS, what we're doing, and more so just, it's a nice cultural presentation. Yeah? And bring your friends, encourage them to come.